Hello, everybody, and welcome to Diary Room Open Mic with your producer, McCrae, and your host, Janelle.
Hey, guys.
Janelle, how's it going?
Oh, my God, so good. I'm so excited for this particular episode because I know there's a lot of people out there looking for information like this. Our topic today is the top 10 strategies on how to play Big Brother to best do your game, right?
But before we get to that, just want to say thanks, everyone, for watching and liking. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, all that good stuff. The RSS feed is coming, so keep your eyes peeled. Just thanks again.
Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. And then just thanks for watching and being a part of our Diary Room Open Mic.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is just a free-flowing conversation about Big Brother, you know?
Yes.
I'm not trying to get too actually, we're not trying to get up our own ass. We're just trying to be real people bullshitting. We're
just talking. These are our thoughts. We're in the diary room, and you're basically just listening in. So, McCrae, we've both played Big Brother. I know some people, if you're not watching, I've played Big Brother 4 times.
I played
McCrae's
one
played
time.
once. I've gotten far twice. So, I definitely have a lot of experience. I would say we put together our top 10 things to do, and these are not advanced strategies and what to do. This is kind of just like the top 10 things to do. If you do get on this show, if you are in the casting process right now and you're like, what do I do? You should watch this video because you don't want to look like a freaking idiot on TV.
Yeah, these are just some useful tips and tricks of the trade, basically.
You're going on Big Brother. This is what you do. Okay. Number 1, know the freaking show you're going on. Do not be a model or an influencer and not know the show. And I say this because so many people, they know that the fans don't like, I'm just an influencer. I'm going to go sell some skin cream, And you can tell in the interviews by the answers that they give on their Big Brother experience and their Big Brother knowledge.
Yep.
So I'm not saying you need to watch every single season back and forth and know all of the castmates and the order they were evicted in. Absolutely not. Unless you just want to know that to sound cool in the house.
Yeah.
Which would also make you a huge target. But I'm saying know the show.
Have a
know
basic
how it works.
Yep.
Know how to play the power of veto.
Yep.
And kind of just know how the show works and how long it is and what a huge time commitment it is.
Well, and even I think about knowing enough about the show to know that it might be a viable strategy to go in there and pretend like you don't know anything about the show.
Absolutely.
That's
to act like, oh my God, I was literally recruited on Instagram. Perfect.
Yeah, that's gonna make you seem less threatening in the house. Or,
But for your game personally, I truly, truly want you to know the show so I can watch some really good gameplay.
Absolutely.
Because I am a fan of the show, and I know you are too,
Yes,
McCrae.
exactly.
And most of the people listening are probably fans of the show.
Yeah.
But for those that are, again, through the casting process and just getting started, or maybe you're going to apply to Big Brother in a couple of years, please know the show. Number 2 is a big thing, and it's really self-discovery and just working on your people skills. I feel like to be in the Big Brother house, you need to be a really, really good listener, but you also need to be good at communicating.
Absolutely.
Do you agree with that, McCrae?
Absolutely. This is a weird story, but what I used to think I was really kind of bad at that. I think I was bad at being personal and stuff like that. But so when I got my job at the pizza place,
yes, pizza stories.
Well, basically, I got that job, and then I started to practice my people skills. Sure. When I would go up to the door, I would try to find something that I could relate to someone, just
working for that tip.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it was, and that's what I used to help me sell myself on Big Brother to be oh, well, I'm the most manipulative pizza boy there ever was because I'll go in there and I'll but doing that job and then consciously being I'm working on my personality skills, my personability.
People skills.
Yeah, exactly.
People skills are huge. And you and I both came from working in the service industry before we did Big Brother. And I think a lot of really great Big Brother players come from the service industry because we serve others, we get tips for it, we get what we want. Are we a little manipulative? Yes, because I'm giving you something, but I want something and I want money. So, right?
And we're also decent at kissing ass when we need to, sometimes you just got to suck it up and kiss some ass.
You know how to read people and then you know how to kind of work it.
Yep, absolutely. So definitely go out there. If you think that you don't have those skills, go find somewhere.
Apply to a bartending job.
Exactly.
Jackson Mitchie, another server bartender type. great people skills, great Big Brother player. Is he well loved in the Big Brother community? No. But you know, he was a server, bartender, whatever. And I think a lot of those people that are working in restaurants and bars, they're working with all different, what you're doing is it's like a kaleidoscope, right? Like you're working with so many different types of people that you just know how to manage it.
And yeah, it's not necessarily something that you're born with. Some people are, but it's definitely something that you can, you know, work towards and be better at, you know. So get out there and try.
And I always tell people a good thing for people skills is to learn the who, what, and when. So whenever you meet someone, ask who they are, what they're all about, where, like, what are you doing, and like a when. Like, when did you do this? When did you graduate? You know how to start an open conversation. Again, this is getting a little bit more advanced into strategy, but just be really good at asking a lot of questions and then be really good at listening.
Asking questions is huge.
Okay. Number 3 is super basic. I've believed in this since the beginning when I played Big Brother. And a lot of OG people were like, you're crazy. But my strategy was always win the first HOH.
Yeah.
Right?
We talked a little bit about this last podcast. But yeah, I think, I did it.
You did it, and I did it in season 7 on the first All Stars. I believe that going for that HOH and getting power is super important for your placement in the house and getting in the first alliance that will be in the house.
I think you said that if you didn't win that first HOH, you and Kaiser would be up on.
Yes. So season 7, if I did not win, because there was a huge pregame alliance, like basically the entire house had said, if anyone from Janelle and Kaiser's alliance, which was basically just people from our season, if you guys don't win it, Janelle and Kaiser on the block immediately. And if Kaiser comes down, it's Janelle and James. Like we just keep going after these 4 people. And so, I knew that because when I played the first All-Star season, someone called and told me. It's kind of weird. Basically, someone that was playing Big Brother All-Stars lived with a girl and they had a falling out, and she called and told me.
What?
Yes. You didn't know this?
No, that is the craziest shit ever.
She called me and she's like, just to let you know, my ex-roommate is going to be playing Big Brother with you this summer, and she's turned everyone against you. Everyone's throwing the first HOH, and she's going to win it, and she's going to take you out.
I'm not going to ask you who it is, but I want to hear you guys sound off in the comments. Throw up who you think it is.
Tell me who you think it is. We're going to comment below if you're right. Or they're just a really big super fan and they already know because they remember watching season 7 and they remember the preseason BS that everyone dealt with.
I don't know anything about this.
It was crazy.
Yeah, so you'll have to tell me off air.
You were still in high school, McCrae. Come on.
I think I was. What? Oh, yeah. The reason I kind of wanted actually my first HOH was because I saw the boys who eventually became the moving company.
Yes.
I saw their knowing looks at each other. I saw how like they're a bunch of muscled up boys,
yes,
you know.
And
the
moving
company, and I knew that I could just feel the vibe of those people are going to be together. I'm not a muscle boy. I'm a little scrawn dog, and like I knew that they would be like, well,
he's an outcast.
Outcast. Yeah. I was an outsider, and I knew that was the vibe. So
yes.
I knew it was like, no, I was an alternate. I wasn't even supposed to be on Big Brother in the first place, and I was like, there's no way I'm giving up my shot right now when I can win HOH. Like I get a free week in the house. Like fuck this.
Oh my God. And fun fact, I was there for McCrae's very first edition because we were at the Mall of America. For those of you from Minnesota, we had an open casting call and McCrae came through and I kind of like remembered him because you were, which is really great and smart to do in casting. You were so memorable because no offense, like you had long hair and you were just like different looking.
Absolutely.
So I remembered you.
No, the reason I went to that casting call was because you were there.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes. My roommate was like, he was positive he was going to be on the show.
Oh.
And
you got it?
Yes.
Oh my God,
so
amazing.
I think he's pissed. But yes, that was the reason I was like, I'm going to go have lunch with my friends and I can meet Janelle. Fuck it, let's do it.
Sweet. Yeah. I love it.
It's so dumb.
Anyway, so winning that first HOH, guys, is so important. We talked a little bit on another episode, but I just feel like just knowing this, if you're, again, in casting right now or you're going through the process, or maybe you play like Big Brother online. I don't freaking know what you do. Winning that first HOH is huge.
Because people have to come to you. They have to bring you information.
You get information, and then
get to
you
decide.
Get to collect that information, decide how you want to disperse that information.
You know, the other thing I thought about it, I always think about this. I think the first HOH like sets the pace of the game.
Totally sets the pace.
Sets the pace
100%.
of the game. Like how you play as an HOH really determines the rest of the game.
Okay, so number 4 is so very fun. And if you can pull this off, you are in the big league. It's having a secret alliance. It's super fun. So if you guys ever get the chance to play, I would encourage you to try this strategy. I think it's so fun.
Absolutely.
It makes the game interesting. It makes the show interesting. And I know the fans love to see it. I've personally I've never been able to use the strategy. I've had maybe other people that I could maybe pull into something, but it just never really happened.
I think it was kind of a good strategy. What the brigade kind of did that, right? Where they all had their little parachutes.
And also the cookout did it. They all had secret alliances, but they did they were so strategic, the cookout, in pulling each member of that alliance had a secret alliance. But they weren't true to that secret alliance. So I'm saying long term, make a secret alliance that you're going to stick to. I think it's cool. It's good for the show. It can really work out. Yeah, really well.
I think having that option is, having more options is always going to be better in the Big Brother house. So
but you don't want to have too many options.
Yes,
don't make an alliance with everyone. Don't do Frenchy. Just don't do it.
Frenchy, he's going to be the patron saint of this podcast.
Oh my God.
We're just going to talk about Frenchy every
I cannot wait to have him on the show. We have to ask him, McCrae. Okay. We need to do a break. We lost the sheet. We're taking a commercial break.
Let's see. And welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So number 5, McCrae kind of worded this, and then I've got my own take on it. So McCrae, you go ahead.
Okay, this one is know your role, shut your hole. A teacher taught me that, and I used it. I said it in my intro of my Big Brother package, all that stuff. But I think it really means, if you go in there and you're the house mother, you're the person that I clean up everything. That's your role. When you're doing that, all of a sudden you don't have to I'm going to start making big moves like Janelle, or whatever, where it's just chill the fuck out, play your role. You don't need to be getting into the mix of everything because you're everyone trusts you,
Right.
People don't trust when you start making moves or, you have to know who you are as a character within the house and within your other castmates.
Yes.
And you have to know how you relate to them.
Yes. And also, so I wrote my own version of what you said, and mine was keep your mouth shut and your eyes open. So
I like that.
And that's from my girl Danielle Reyes. Obviously she said that in 3, and I was a fan of the show before I got on season 6. And was I good at that? Probably not. But I want you guys, the goal here is just to know what the most common strategies, things to do in the house when you are cast for the show. I think listening, again, it goes to listening, listening. Keep your, just listen to everything that's happening. Self-awareness is good. And then awareness of where your house guests are in the house. And yes, this is extremely exhausting to play this game. That's why it's mentally exhausting.
I think, listening, that is so huge because I definitely went in there and I was like, I don't need to be the star of the show.
Right.
I don't need to be the one that's the loudest person in the room. You're going to go in there and everyone's going to be everyone's got psyched from TV. Well, I'm on TV. So everyone wants to be the personality. Everyone wants to be the loudest. Let them go do that, Let them go make asses of themselves. Let them go become a target,
And so many people, when they first play Big Brother, they do this thing where they take information and then they don't hold it in and they don't use it to their advantage.
Yes.
Davon playing her first season, that was one. And there was, I think another time Davon did it in season 22, but we're all guilty of doing it to some extent.
Yep.
And I'm just using her as an example. But when someone tells you something, you don't have to tell everyone else
in the world, yes.
Especially if that information, you can use it for later to your own advantage.
That is a big Amanda problem. Amanda was like that all the time. Where it's just just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just stop telling people
and
stuff.
That's, as women, we have that problem, right? Because we're natural talkers. We talk things out. We're women.
I guess, yeah.
So women do have a problem with that. It's definitely, I think, an area where any Big Brother player can always improve on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So number 6 is more of an advanced Big Brother strategy. We talked about this because it's not very you don't think about it. But again, if you are about to play Big Brother, I like using this strategy because you can find out who to trust and who not to trust.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So this is floating info to people you want to work with, and then you're seeing if that information comes back to you. So it can be the dumbest thing. How do we even give an example here? So say I'm sitting with McCrae,
Yep.
and I want to work with McCrae.
Yep.
But I know McCrae's working with
Sprinkles.
the whole. He could be working with the whole house, and I'm like, I just want to see if I can trust McCrae. So I'm going to tell him something that's false that won't hurt me or damage me in the game.
Yeah, Sprinkles is a liar.
But just see if it comes back to me.
Yep.
So I'm going to say, Amanda said something to me in the kitchen.
And then
So that's all. And now hold, that's all you have to say. Amanda said something to me in the kitchen. You can say, what? You know what? Don't worry about it. When we move on further in the game, I'm going to let you know. But I just want to let you know Amanda said something to me in the kitchen.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden, if I'm in the house and I'm playing Big Brother and I've got 5 or 6 people asking me what Amanda said and he's the only one that I asked it to, do you think I can trust him?
You know exactly where the leak is.
You know who the leak is and you know how to trust that person.
You're
so
checking
you
the
always
leak.
put little, and then you can just put out that fire and be like, oh, well, she just basically said like hello, and when you're having breakfast, you could just make some. Oh well, it was nothing. There wasn't even. What are you talking about? I never said strategy, McCrae.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can don't be
Gaslight
afraid
afterwards.
to use that, and don't be now. Don't crash and burn with this, and
didn't-
do an elaborate lie.
Didn't Frenchy do this?
But again, Frenchy should have been watching a podcast to learn how not to screw this strategy
Don't
up.
be like Frenchy, folks.
Don't do this. Like
Yeah.
Frenchy is the poster child for what not to do. He won his first HOH.
Yeah. And
He completely made an alliance with the entire house.
Yep.
He switched up nominations. He told people they were safe when they weren't.
No, he was doing that thing. He was doing the thing where he tried to like find the leak, because that's when he started being like, oh, Derek and then Travis and Kyland, they're all working together because that's where the leak came from. Like, but it just like made Frenchie seem way more shady, because it's like, one, don't tell everyone your plan of fucking checking for leaks, because
Well, here's the thing. You don't want to talk about it. You only want to tell one person, one little thing.
Yep.
And it's not like a casual, like someone like, someone like is just neutral to you that you don't necessarily want to work with. It could be someone that you want to work with, or you're trying to start something with.
it's just like it's a vibe check. It's like checking out to see
you're
how
sending the olive branch, and if all this information comes back to you,
Then you
then
can't
you
trust.
know, like,
Yeah.
okay, like you need to find someone else in the house that you should probably connect with.
Absolutely.
Number 7. Okay, do you remember this one, McCrae?
I don't.
So this is from McCrae's season, and it's also from I wish it happened last season in 22 or 23. Sorry, was it 23? So this is a strategy that you have to be comfortable doing, I think, to advance your game. So let's just say you get into an alliance in the beginning of the game. You want to be very comfortable starting a late game alliance. So this little tip right here is the late game alliance check.
Yes.
If you are moving forward in the game and you have progress, you want to reevaluate things mid-game, right after jury, and you want to make another late game alliance. I know you're going to be true to your true alliance, but you got to look at the end game and see who you can kind of beat.
Yep.
And do a late game alliance.
And that's what it is, basically, where it's like you set yourself in the beginning of the game to get yourself to the end of the game.
Yes.
Once you get to the end of the game, you shouldn't have to rely on the stuff at the beginning of the game.
Correct.
Everything is changing. You have to be adaptive in this game.
You have to.
Adaptation is huge, and I think that is one of the key parts.
And can you give the example of how Andy made his late game alliance? Because I know he was in alliance with you and Amanda.
Let's not give Andy the credit, but
Well,
let's
let's-
just say,
Andy
of
was a
course.
great player.
Andy was a great player, but also yes. But I think like that the exterminators came out of necessity of all those players having
Sure.
to put up a defense against me and Amanda.
Sure.
Me and Amanda were kind of steamrolling at a certain point, and I think it was obviously super smart for them to become a united front
Yes.
against us and to get us out. But that's the thing, is me and Andy and Amanda were the thickest thieves, and he had to make a choice to win the game, basically, or he could have just been like our third, or he could have been fourth,
But I would say Andy Herren's a great example of a late game alliance that you need to make to win. He's the best example that I can think of.
Yeah, I think I feel like there's some Canadian examples, but that
But
gets
Andy, for
into-
me, is the number one late game alliance strategy. Like, he
Yeah.
really rocked it.
That was smart.
And props to Andy. A lot of people make fun of him or whatever.
I think it was
He's-
Spencer's idea, if I had to remember.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Anyway, I know you don't like Andy. I like Andy. So I'm saying, Andy, good job. And if you guys want to go back and watch that strategy, it's on season 15.
Season
And it's
15.
probably like, I don't know, there's like 4 weeks left.
Oh yeah, no, that's when the show starts to suck.
So number 8 is total modern Big Brother. But I also think that even playing old school BB, so I've played both. this tip is getting in a large alliance in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
All alliances start out really huge. Do I think they work really well in the beginning? Maybe for a couple weeks, and they usually crash and burn.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Absolutely.
But the key here is to get into that large alliance,
Yeah.
whether it's winning the first HOH, whether it's being charismatic and people like you and want to work with you, being an athlete, or just showing that you're a good player.
I think it's basically what we're trying to say, I think, is like find the majority.
Yes.
Find the majority and then stick in there because, you don't want to.
It's going to break up.
Yeah, it'll break up for sure. But like the thing is, when you're in the majority, everyone else is in front of you, or that's the way that you want it.
Right.
Like if something happens, you want to be able to push anyone else to be, targeted.
But also don't pigeonhole yourself. So I'm not saying join this large alliance and there's maybe 6 or 7 people that aren't in the large alliance. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself in the beginning.
Like, I mean, this is the strategy that works for Survivor, like we said before, where it's
Yes.
like, get the numbers. Numbers rules everything.
It's the voting, it's the
Voting
power in the
numbers,
house.
yes, exactly.
Voting is more important than even winning power later on in the game.
Yes, exactly.
So number 9 is my favorite. It's knowing when to take risks. I feel like modern Big Brother, a lot of people don't take risks. Dan Gheesling, to me, is my favorite example of taking a risk and
Absolutely.
rocking it.
Yep.
I feel like with everything, without risk comes no reward.
Absolutely.
And with risk comes great reward.
Absolutely.
So to give Dan again as the example, if you guys don't know or you do, Dan's funeral was, he took a risk and he put it out
Absolutely.
there.
Yes.
And to me, it's one of the greatest Big Brother moments that I can remember.
Incredible moment. I think that the other thing that's amazing about Dan is, like, I always say, make great TV. That dude knows how to make great TV. He
does.
understands, like, I'm on a TV show first and foremost.
Yes.
I need to make some, let's make some ratings, you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And, like, that is a risk, especially in the Big Brother house
my
when
gosh, yeah.
everyone's trying to, get out the people that are like that. But I think, like, that's like the perfect combination of risk reward
100%.
and being entertaining,
And then it doesn't have to be like a flashy move like Dan's funeral.
No.
I would say 90% of Big Brother players would never even be able to pull something close to that off.
No.
So don't think that by listening to this podcast or watching us on YouTube, you'll be able to pull Dan's funeral off. It was more than just that. That was Dan.
Yeah.
So I would say, though, taking a risk, an example of that would be winning HOH or winning a veto and taking a risk where you're scared and you feel like it could damage your game. But if you do it, you could really advance your game.
You could advance your game, or you could just die a legend. You
Right.
know, like going
Right.
against the main powers in the house. Like that's the reason why, like in the last episode, we talked about Cody and Jessica
Yes.
because Cody was like, "I'm gonna go against everyone in this house. I don't care."
That's why they are so popular. I mean, and it's you don't play Big Brother to do popularity contests. No one cares, but.
Yeah.
They did something.
They did something,
And
people still talk
it's more
about
than
them.
a lot of Big Brothers I can say where they did nothing. And I'm like, please don't ever come back.
Well, and you win Big Brother, you make $500,000. You go on Big.
$500,000 isn't shit.
It's nothing, especially compared to you go on Big Brother, you be a legend, you get to go to Amazing Race and win
Amazing
$1 million.
Race, Survivor, anything else.
That's Cody and Jess. Literally, didn't they win Amazing
Yes.
Race? Like, fuck, they're
I mean,
living a
I'm
good
friends
life.
with Jody and Jody.
Jody, that's their name.
That's their
Yeah.
nickname.
Yeah.
So I am friends with them. I mean, they've done great things with their life.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't even on the show that long, you guys.
Yeah, no,
they
it's
were just
crazy.
authentic and real, and they took risks.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you are thinking of going on the show and you're just like, oh my God, like, please, I'm begging you, take those risks.
Yep.
And if there's a time to take out a big threat and you're scared, just remember my words, take the risk.
Take the risk. Timing's everything.
Okay, so our very, very last one, McCrae, I want you to go over it because we talked about it.
I can't remember what it
Oh
was.
my God.
I cannot remember.
Remember?
Find that one person you can trust.
Find that one person you can trust.
Who was your person?
Kaser.
That's right, that's
and
right.
Howie.
And Howie. Oh, Howie. We need to get him on the show.
Oh my God, he's a ball of laughs.
Yes,
So I think this goes back to having good people skills, communication skills. Also, charisma goes into this too. But you want to be open and vulnerable because if you're not, no one wants to work with you.
Yep.
So
Fake.
finding that one person to work with can be extremely frightening, right, McRae?
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
So you have to put yourself out there, and you have to give a little bit of trust when you start these olive branches and you start talking to people. You can't just walk into a room and say, I want to be in alliance with you. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. I feel like it's just like dating. Like, you don't take someone and say, let's go freaking have sex. You take them to dinner.
Oh, yeah, you gotta wine them
and
and
dine
dine
them. You send them flowers,
Yeah.
you know, and then it's like you build that
Build
trust.
the
You build
relationship.
the trust.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, me and Amanda, that I guess was the person I like was my trust person. Judd too, to a degree, but you know, me and Amanda were tight. But when I told her that the moving company was a thing
Yeah.
and that we had flipped on them that night, that's when I think everything changed, because she was like, I can trust this dude forever.
Yes.
Like, he will never, you know, that
And
was the moment.
That's kind of another little another little trick and strategy is you tell them something that you can, like, hey, I'm telling you this, like, I'm
Yes.
putting myself out there.
Yeah.
So you give them a little bit of information.
That's taking a risk.
Huge information. Like, you cannot find that information anywhere else.
Yep, I'm the only one that knows this. I'm
telling you, this is-
confiding in
yes,
you.
confiding.
You're my confidant. Yeah, exactly. That's huge.
It's huge, and I've played Big Brother so many times, and I remember it's how I always get to trust people too.
Vulnerability.
Yeah, being vulnerable and being
Huge.
open.
Yep.
Not only to the experience, because if you ever do play Big Brother, I want you to have a lot of fun and be open to the experience. But yes, be vulnerable, and then when you do find that one person to trust, don't screw it up. Like, don't lie to
Yes.
them. Don't
No.
like.
You have to know
actually
what you
be,
have.
Yeah, like, know what you have, because it is really hard to find trust in the house. So when you do find that one person, hold on to them tight.
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely. That's just life advice too.
Yeah.
You know, it's for the lovers out there.
Those are our top 10 tips.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope I hope you enjoyed this. If you guys have any other tips that you think might be good, you want us to talk about your tips that you think, or you know,
Another topic, Big Brother wise or life wise. I know someone said, can you please talk about buying property in the Virgin Islands? That's too specific. If you want me to do an episode on how to invest in Airbnbs, that's totally doable.
Okay.
But I can't be that specific. So just let me know in the
So
comments.
insane.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Hit that like button. And thank you guys. We'll see you guys next time on Open Mic Diary Room.
Diary Room Open Mic. All right. Bye.